Right, today we're doing our Team of the Year predictions, or not really predictions because this is definitely not how EA are going to put it because I've got a big few names missing, but this is how I would put the Team of the Year if we were allowed to vote now in October. We're not allowed to vote now, but I'm sure we will in a few months' time. But I'm doing my Team of the Year now because why not? We've played majority of the year. I don't see much of it changing in the next couple of months realistically. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Starting with the goalkeeper. There's a few names that stick out. We could have David Raya. He's had an amazing start to the season. We could have Ter Stegen, maybe Oblak, Mignon. I don't know. There's not really many names that stick out apart from Alisson. Missed the first bit of the season through an injury that Kelleher played, but one of the best goalkeepers in the world, probably the best goalkeeper in the world, without a doubt, and he'll probably be in there in some way, shape or form. So we'll have Alisson in goal. I have also designed all the cards myself and done all the stats myself, so yeah, I've done that too. Going into right back, there's a few options. We could have Jeremy Frimpong, we could have Trent Alexander-Arnold, we could have Ben White, but I've gone with Carvajal, unfortunately suffering a pretty nasty ACL injury a couple of weeks ago. But Champions League winner, La Liga winner, Euros winner, probably the best right back in the world this year. And I think, yeah, he deserves to be in the Team of the Year this year. I think so. I know Frimpong, had an amazing season with Leverkusen, getting unbeaten and everything. But I think Carvajal's been probably had his best year in a very long time, and I think he deserves it. Back to them, we'll start with William Saliba of Arsenal. I'm picking him out of him and Gabriel. I think Gabriel's actually started this season better, but Saliba has proved a few years ago when he got injured and Arsenal lost the league because of it, that he is definitely probably the more important out of the two. I think if Arsenal dropped Gabriel for Calafiori at any point, I don't think they'd suffer as much as if Saliba was to leave the team. And he's just been really pushing Van Dijk for the top spot as the best centre-back in the world. And then my other centre-back is that other centre-back, Virgil van Dijk. Both the same rating. I think these two are more or less level now when it comes to quality of centre-back. Obviously there's a big name missing, Antonio Rudiger. I'm going to put 3 honourable mentions at the end, and he's the first one. So Antonio Rudiger could very much be in there, but I think Saliba and Van Dijk are the best 2 centre-backs in the world, and yeah, they deserve to be in this team. Left back then, obviously FIFA nerds and EA are probably going to have Teo Hernandez. DeMarco of Inter has a shout as well, but I've gone with Gvardiol. I think he has transitioned to the left-back position very well, considering he's naturally a centre-back, and especially towards the back end of last season, which is the start of the year, he was phenomenal, one of the best left-backs in the world. The way he would push forward, despite being naturally a centre-back, was crazy, to be honest, and I think Gvardiol does deserve to be in there. But I think he is the lowest-rated player in this team, alongside Alisson, so 93 is not bad, but they are some juicy stats considering his card would be able to play centre-back, so potentially more expensive than Saliba and Van Dijk, potentially, but we'd have to see about that. Going into midfield now, I have gone with a 4-3-3, starting with Rodri, another man like Carvajal who suffered a big ACL injury, but probably the best player in the world last year. Front runner, in my opinion, to win the Ballon d'Or. I think he deserves it more than any other player. Euros win, Premier League win, holding down that midfield, went, what was it, like over 100 games without losing. Phenomenal stat, phenomenal player. 97 rated, the joint highest rated card in this team, alongside 2 other players yet to be named. So yeah, Rodri deserves it, alongside his midfield partner, Jude Bellingham. The other 97 rated, there's one more 97 rated after him. But good Euros campaign with England, considering he was one of the only players that stepped up really, especially when they needed him. Great start to the season with Real. He dwindled out towards the end, but Champions League winner, La Liga winner in his first season. Started the season. I don't know if he started the season well. I don't think he has, but Real Madrid have been a bit quiet. Like Mbappe's not really started the season very well, but it's Jude Bellingham. He's the poster boy for FIFA this year, or FC. So I think he'll probably be in there. And then lastly, this one for some reason is a bit controversial, but he was the best player in the Premier League last season, and that is Phil Foden, 96 rated. One Player of the Year in the Premier League, was the best player in the Premier League last season. Had his best season of his career, realistically. Bit of an underwhelming Euros campaign, but I think for majority of the England squad it was. The second honourable mention is Cole Palmer, who's not in this team. He could very well be 12th man, but he's not in this team. I think Foden and then the right winger potentially had better seasons, and Palmer, when you look at last season, and he scored, 21 goals, he scored 9 penalties, and yeah, I don't know. Foden for me was just a better player and more influential on his team. City obviously winning the league, and Chelsea finishing 5th, I think it was. I know Palmer carried Chelsea a lot, but they didn't win anything. And then at right wing, Bukayo Saka, 95 rated. First team. This would be the first time he's ever been in the Team of the Year. I reckon he did have a better season than Mo Salah last season. He did have a better season than Cole Palmer in a way that he was more consistent over the season. I think Saka's been one of the most consistent players over the last 3 years and doesn't sometimes get the praise that he deserves. Whether he's pushing that world-class status or not yet, I don't know. But he has had a phenomenal season. And the third honourable mention is Rodrigo. Very well could be in at right wing. Another honourable mention, I know I said there'd only be 3, but Florian Wirtz could very well be in and around here as well. Had a phenomenal season with Leverkusen and then Germany in the Euros as well. Left wing, a Brazilian, Vinicius Jr., the last Real Madrid player in this team. Another front runner to win the Ballon d'Or. It's kind of between him and Rodri, or maybe Bellingham, on who wins it this year. But Vinicius really stepped up to be one of the best wingers in the world this season. His dribbling's phenomenal. He was great in the Champions League. He really showed that against Dortmund, creating the goal that ended up being the winning goal. I'm pretty sure he created... I think Bellingham scored, but he might not have scored it. I remember him squaring it across in some way, shape or form, and I think Bellingham may have tapped it in. I'm not sure, but yeah, Vinicius has been great. There was a few question marks on where he'd play, what his role would be with Mbappe coming in, but I think he's still staked down as one of Real Madrid's most important players, even with the likes of Mbappe coming in, so fair play to him. And finally, the last player in this team, the final 97 rated card, is the man himself, Erling Haaland. Top goal scorer in the Premier League last season. Obviously didn't have an international campaign, but you can't really help it when you're playing for a nation that doesn't, there's going to be a lot of players in the past as well that just didn't really have good international stages in their career. Because of the nation they're from, they can't help it. Started this season incredibly well. Back-to-back hat-tricks is ridiculous. And then scored 2 the week after against Brentford, I think it was. Back-to-back hat-tricks against Ipswich and West Ham. Probably the best goal scorer we've ever seen in the world. I can't think back, maybe like Marco van Basten or Ruud van Nistelrooy. I can't think of a player that's had that much of a goal return to games and is that lethal of a finisher than a Haaland. And he's scoring all types of goals at the minute. The goal against West Ham outside of the box, goal against Ipswich outside of the box, he's starting to change up the way he scores. He's no longer just in and around the box, but this stigma that he only scores tap-ins is ridiculous because his attacking movement and to be there at that moment, to be there at the right time is second to none. He's the best striker in the world in my opinion. I know people say Harry Kane because there's more to his game, but what you want from your striker, you want him to score goals, and there's no one better than Haaland. And the 12th man, I think, could be Cole Palmer, could be Rudiger. Knowing EA, it would be Mbappe, but he would probably be in this team somewhere, maybe over Saka. But I don't think Mbappe deserves to be in the Team of the Year this year. I think there's just been players that have overperformed him. But EA are going to have to sell them packs of somewhere. Who should the 12th man be? You could be Mo Salah, although he wasn't great last year. Well, he wasn't great after January when this would actually start. A lot of his performances from last season came before the AFCON. And Salah, he's started the season alright, but it's just his usual standard. So 12th man, Valverde could be in with a shout. Rodrigo could be in with a shout. Florian Wirtz. You know what? I'm going to give it to Florian Wirtz as the 12th man. Maybe Cole Palmer. It's between those two. So yeah, that's my team of the year. About 3 months too early. But let me know what you agree with. I'm sure there'll be plenty to disagree with. Obviously, there is only players from 4 teams, but it's the way it should be, realistically. You're supposed to pick the best players in the world from that year, and they're going to be playing for the best teams in the world. If you look back at the FIFA 16 Team of the Year, that only had players from 4 teams. The majority of it was just Real Madrid and Barcelona, with the odd players from Bayern Munich, and then there was just David Luiz. This is the way it should be, the best players from the best teams in the world. And yeah, let me know what you agree with, let me know what you don't, let me know if you enjoyed this video, and leave a like as always, and make sure to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you later.